Did you know that the way you store your vegetables might be quietly harming your health, especially after it's old? Most seniors work hard to eat better, choosing more fiber, more greens, less sugar. But there's one mistake that flies under the radar: refrigerating the wrong vegetables, or worse, leaving the wrong ones out. You see, not all vegetables belong in the fridge. Some lose their healing power when chilled. Others, if left out, become breeding grounds for bacteria. And as we age, our immune systems become more fragile. A small storage mistake that meant little at 30 could mean inflammation, digestion issues, or even illness at 70. In this video, we'll walk through 4 vegetables you should never refrigerate and 4 that must be kept cold to protect your heart, your memory, and your strength. Because food is more than just fuel. It's your body's daily defense. So if you've ever wondered, am I doing this right? Why doesn't this feel like it used to? This video might be your quiet breakthrough. Leave a 1 in the comments if you've ever refrigerated garlic or tomatoes, just so we know we're not alone. Let's begin with the first mistake that could be costing you more than flavor. Let's begin with one of the most trusted healing ingredients in the world: garlic. For centuries, garlic has been a staple in the kitchens of wise grandparents and modern doctors alike. It's used to reduce inflammation, support heart health, and even fight off infections. Many seniors add it to soups, stir-fries, or even swallow raw cloves in the morning, believing they're doing something good for their bodies. But here's the quiet mistake storing garlic in the refrigerator. Garlic is not meant for the cold. It's a hardy bulb designed by nature to stay dry, dark, and cool, but never wet and chilled. When you place it in the fridge, especially unpeeled, the moisture and cold cause it to sprout early. That might not look like a problem, but deep inside, something crucial is breaking down. Garlic's power comes from a compound called allicin, a natural anti-inflammatory, cholesterol-lowering, and immune-boosting compound. Sprouting causes that compound to degrade, weakening garlic's benefits. What's left? A bitter taste, rubbery texture, and little therapeutic value. And it doesn't stop there. Some people trying to save time chop garlic in advance and store it in oil. But when kept cold without proper acidity, this mix can become a breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, a deadly bacterium that causes botulism. Seniors with weakened immunity are especially vulnerable to its effects, which can include paralysis or even death. So what was meant to protect you now puts you at risk. This isn't just about flavor or texture. It's about losing a daily tool for healing. Garlic, when treated right, helps reduce joint pain, support circulation, and keep your immune system sharp. But when stored wrong, you lose all of that. The simple solution: store whole garlic bulbs outside the fridge in a well-ventilated basket or mesh bag. Keep them away from direct sunlight, moisture, and plastic bags. Let them breathe, and they'll serve you well. Because sometimes, keeping it old school is the smartest choice for your body. Have you ever kept sweet potatoes in the fridge, thinking it helps them last longer? You're not alone, but this quiet habit might be turning a healing food into a hidden risk. Sweet potatoes are more than just a delicious side dish. For many seniors, they symbolize warmth, comfort, and family. They're rich in fiber, potassium, and complex carbs that release energy slowly, perfect for supporting steady blood sugar and digestive health as we age. But here's the quiet truth: sweet potatoes don't belong in the refrigerator. While the fridge feels like the safe zone for most foods, sweet potatoes react poorly to cold. When stored in the fridge, their complex carbohydrates begin to convert into simple sugars, And that's where the danger starts. When those sugar-laden sweet potatoes are later baked or roasted, they form acrylamide, a chemical linked to increased cancer risk in numerous studies. What used to nourish your body now silently works against it. And the losses don't stop there. Cold temperatures damage the sweet potato cell walls, giving it a dry, gritty texture. You may notice the once vibrant orange color fading to grayish-brown, an early sign of oxidation and nutrient loss. That means less beta-carotene, the antioxidant that keeps your eyes and immune system sharp. So, what's the real cost of this common mistake? You lose the long-lasting energy that fuels your day, the natural sweetness and softness you enjoy, the protective nutrients your aging body depends on. The simple fix: store sweet potatoes in a cool, dark, dry place like a pantry or cabinet. Avoid sealed containers or plastic bags. Let them breathe naturally, and they'll reward you with flavor, texture, and all the healing power they were meant to offer. Because when it comes to healthy aging, how you store your food matters just as much as what you eat. Onions are part of nearly every kitchen routine. They bring flavor, aroma, and depth to countless dishes, soups, stir-fries, even simple sandwiches. But while their role in cooking is undeniable, many people never pause to ask, am I storing them right? Unfortunately, for most of us, the answer is no. Onions are built to last, but only under the right conditions. Their papery outer skin is nature's way of shielding them from light and moisture. But when you put them in the fridge, you're placing them in the exact environment they shouldn't be in: cold, damp, and enclosed. In the fridge, onions begin to absorb moisture. Their texture turns soft. Their layers break down. Their bold taste becomes dull or even sour. And if the onion has been cut, that moist environment becomes a perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria. For seniors, this isn't just about flavor, it's about safety. A younger body might brush off a little spoilage, but an aging immune system is more vulnerable to foodborne illness and digestive issues. What's more, onions are rich in quercetin, a natural anti-inflammatory compound that supports circulation, memory, and joint health. But once exposed to moisture and cold, that compound starts to degrade, leaving behind less of the goodness your body needs. There's also a hidden inconvenience. Onions release sulfur compounds in the fridge, which spread and taint nearby foods. Your fruits, butter, and even leftovers can take on that sharp, unwanted flavor, making meals less enjoyable for seniors who may already have reduced senses of smell and taste. The solution is simple. Store onions whole and unpeeled in a cool, dry, and ventilated space like a pantry or open basket. Avoid plastic bags and closed containers. Let them breathe, and they'll continue to flavor your meals safely and naturally. When stored right, onions don't just enhance your food, they preserve your health. There's something nostalgic about a ripe tomato sitting on the kitchen counter. That deep red color, the earthy scent, it reminds many of us of home gardens, warm summers, and simpler times. But in today's modern kitchens, most tomatoes go straight into the fridge without a second thought. And that's where the problem begins. Tomatoes may look tough on the outside, but inside, they're delicate. They continue to ripen even after being picked, and refrigeration halts that natural process. Once placed in the fridge, tomatoes lose their flavor, their sweetness fades, and their texture turns mealy soft, watery, and sometimes almost chalky. But this isn't just about taste. It's about nutritional loss. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to protect the heart, lower inflammation, and support prostate and skin health. Lycopene gives tomatoes their vibrant red color, but when tomatoes are stored cold, their cellular structure begins to break down. This not only dulls their color, it reduces the bioavailability of those health-supporting compounds. And for seniors who rely on antioxidant-rich foods to support their aging bodies, that's a quiet but serious loss. Even more, cold-stored tomatoes can be harder to digest. Their fibers soften unevenly, and they may ferment slightly inside, especially when later exposed to heat. That can lead to bloating, stomach discomfort, or mild digestive upset, particularly for those with sensitive guts. So while you may think the fridge is preserving your tomatoes, it's often doing the opposite. What should you do instead? Store tomatoes at room temperature, out of direct sunlight. Let them ripen naturally. Place them stem side down on a towel-lined tray or basket. If they start to over-ripen, use them right away in a sauce or soup. Don't rush them into cold storage. When treated gently, tomatoes remain what they were always meant to be, a heart-healthy, digestion-friendly food full of flavor and natural healing power. Because as we age, it's not just what we eat that matters. It's also how we care for the foods that care for us. Have your greens ever wilted just days after bringing them home? You might be storing them the wrong way. Let's fix that today so you can get the full benefit they were meant to give you. Leafy greens are a staple of healthy aging. From spinach and kale to lettuce and Swiss chard, they provide essential nutrients that help keep your heart, bones, and brain in balance. A simple salad, a handful in your omelet, or a wrap with fresh greens can do more than add color. It can add years to your vitality. But here's the quiet truth. Greens are fragile, and room temperature ruins them quickly. Unlike hardy vegetables, leafy greens are extremely sensitive to heat, moisture, and air. Left out on the counter, they wilt within hours, losing structure, flavor, and most importantly, their nutrients. Within just a day or two, key vitamins like folate, vitamin K, and lutein begin to degrade. These nutrients are critical for seniors. Vitamin K helps your blood clot properly. Folate supports brain function and energy. Lutein protects your eyes from age-related damage. And yet, these powerful protectors melt away in the wrong storage. But the risks go deeper than nutrient loss. As greens wilt, moisture begins to accumulate inside their leaves. That warm, wet environment is a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria like Listeria and E. coli. For an older immune system, that's not just unpleasant, it can be dangerous. Spoiled greens might look only slightly wilted, but they can cause upset stomach, fever, or even hospitalization for vulnerable seniors. So what can you do to protect yourself? Store leafy greens in your refrigerator's crisper drawer. Wrap them loosely in a paper towel to absorb excess moisture, then place them in a perforated produce bag or unsealed plastic bag. Never store them in airtight containers. Greens need to breathe. Handled properly, they'll stay crisp, vibrant, and nutrient-rich for days, ready to support your bones, protect your eyesight, and nourish your brain with every bite. Because leafy greens aren't just decoration on a plate, they're plant medicine. And with the right care, they'll keep caring for you. Carrots might seem simple, just another crunchy snack or side dish. But for seniors, they're quietly powerful. Packed with beta-carotene, vitamin A, and antioxidants, carrots support immune health, protect vision, and nourish the skin. Yet many people still store them the wrong way, leaving them out on the counter or in warm drawers, thinking they'll be fine. But here's what happens when carrots are not kept cold. They shrivel, soften, and lose their color. That familiar crunch disappears. And the deeper problem, their nutrients start to vanish too. Beta-carotene, the compound responsible for that vibrant orange color, is highly sensitive to heat and air exposure. When stored at room temperature, it begins to break down. And that means your carrot loses its ability to support your immune system and eye health, two things that become more vital with age. Even worse, the softening of the outer layer allows moisture to seep in. In humid conditions, that's a recipe for bacterial growth, mold, and early spoilage. And spoiled carrots don't always smell or look bad right away. They can quietly cause digestive upset, especially for seniors with sensitive stomachs. Many older adults rely on carrots as part of their daily rhythm, chopped in soup, eaten raw with hummus, or steamed for dinner. But if stored incorrectly, the very vegetable that should be protecting you becomes unreliable. How to store them right? Keep carrots in the vegetable drawer of your refrigerator, ideally in a ventilated plastic bag or perforated container. Don't wash them until just before use. Excess moisture shortens their lifespan. If they came with green tops, remove them to prevent drawing out moisture from the root. Done right, your carrots will stay crisp, sweet, and packed with the healing compounds your body still thrives on. Because sometimes, the most unassuming vegetables carry the biggest responsibilities. Do you leave your mushrooms out on the counter, thinking they're still fresh? This tiny mistake could be allowing bacteria to grow right where you can't see it. Mushrooms are subtle yet powerful. They're not flashy or bright like other vegetables, but inside they hold immune-boosting compounds, antioxidants, and nutrients like selenium and vitamin D that many seniors lack. But mushrooms are also extremely delicate. Unlike root vegetables or dry bulbs, mushrooms are composed mostly of water and soft fibers. When left out at room temperature even just for a few hours, they begin to sweat, soften, and break down on a cellular level. The result? A slimy texture, musty smell, and an ideal environment for bacterial growth. That's not just unappetizing, it's dangerous. As mushrooms deteriorate, they can harbor invisible mold spores and microorganisms. For someone with a strong digestive system, this may not lead to anything more than discomfort. But for seniors, even mild spoilage can lead to nausea, upset stomach, or foodborne illness. And here's the part many overlook: unlike carrots or broccoli, mushrooms won't always give visible warning signs. They might look fine on the outside, but already be compromised inside. More importantly, improper storage causes mushrooms to lose their nutritional value. Compounds that help the body fight oxidative stress or boost immune function begin to degrade rapidly in warm, exposed conditions. So, if you're relying on mushrooms to support your health, which you absolutely should, they need to be protected. Here's how to store them right. Keep mushrooms in the main compartment of your refrigerator, ideally in a paper bag, not plastic. The paper allows them to breathe and absorb excess moisture. Avoid airtight containers, which trap humidity and accelerate spoilage. Use them within a few days of purchase, and never wash them until just before cooking. Excess moisture is the enemy of mushrooms. Handled properly. Mushrooms remain one of the most powerful tools in your kitchen for aging, while offering anti-inflammatory benefits, digestive support, and a gentle lift to your overall wellness. Because even the quietest foods deserve careful attention. Have you ever left broccoli out on the counter, thinking it would last a little longer? Just one day without refrigeration can strip it of the very nutrients your body depends on. Broccoli may be one of the most underrated superfoods for older adults. It's rich in fiber, calcium, and most notably, sulforaphane, a compound known for its anti-inflammatory, detoxifying, and even cancer-fighting properties. But here's the problem. Broccoli is also one of the most sensitive vegetables in your kitchen. The moment it's harvested, broccoli begins a silent race against time. If it's not kept cold, sulforaphane levels begin to deteriorate rapidly. And that's a quiet loss because you won't see it or taste it, but the protection is fading. Broccoli left out at room temperature dehydrates. The florets yellow, the stalk softens, and the antioxidant compounds that help fight joint inflammation, boost liver function, and protect cells from damage. They begin to vanish. Worse, as broccoli breaks down, its flavor becomes bitter and its smell intensifies, making it less appealing, especially for seniors who may already have reduced appetite or digestion challenges. What was once a healing food becomes something easy to ignore or throw away. But that would be a shame because broccoli, when fresh, supports so many aging systems. It helps maintain brain clarity, promotes digestive health, strengthens immune response. So how do you protect its strength? Store broccoli in the refrigerator, ideally unwashed, in a loose produce bag. Don't seal it too tightly. Broccoli needs to breathe. Use it within 3 to 5 days for maximum benefit. And if it starts to yellow, prioritize it in your next meal. Now you know, some vegetables heal you only if you let them. And others, they lose their power the moment they're stored the wrong way. This isn't just about keeping produce fresh. It's about keeping you strong. Every wilted green, every bitter garlic clove, every soft spoiled mushroom, they're quiet signs that your body is missing out on the help it needs. Help that could make your joints ache less. Help that could sharpen your memory. Help that could keep your independence just a little longer. And all of it starts in your kitchen drawer. So take one action today, reclaim your health from the fridge. Go to your kitchen, open your refrigerator, and ask yourself, is this food stored with care or with habit? Because small habits have big consequences. And now you know better. Comment below with the veggie you'll be fixing today, garlic, mushrooms, or maybe those leafy greens. Don't scroll past. Don't save it for later. Write one word. Hit send. Take control, because this isn't just a video. It's your next small turning point. The kind that helps you wake up with energy, walk with ease, and live with clarity for the years that still matter most. You deserve that. And your fridge, it's where the change begins.